In January 2013, a 21-year-old student named Elisa Lam checked into a hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She was traveling alone and documenting her trip online. At first, everything seemed normal. But just a few days later, Elisa disappeared. Weeks later, police released a strange piece of security footage from inside an elevator. The video showed Elisa behaving in a way that nobody could explain. Moments later, she vanished. And to this day, people still ask the same question: what really happened to Elisa Lam? Elisa Lam was a Canadian university student from Vancouver. She was 21 years old, intelligent, curious, and loved writing. She also ran a Tumblr blog where she shared thoughts about life, books, and travel. In early 2013, Elisa decided to take a solo trip through California. She visited several cities, documenting her journey online along the way. Friends and followers could see her posts, photos, thoughts, and daily experiences. Everything seemed positive. Eventually, she arrived in Los Angeles. That's when she checked into the infamous Cecil Hotel. The hotel Elisa stayed in had a long and disturbing history. Located in downtown Los Angeles, the Cecil Hotel had been associated with numerous tragedies over the decades. Several deaths, violent crimes, and mysterious incidents had taken place there. Elisa was last seen on January 31st, 2013. When her parents didn't hear from her, they became worried. Soon, they contacted the police. A missing persons investigation began. Police searched the hotel. They questioned staff. They spoke with guests. But nobody had seen Elisa leave the building. Then investigators discovered something strange. One of the hotel's security cameras had captured Elisa inside an elevator shortly before she vanished. The footage would soon become one of the most unsettling videos on the internet. In the video, Elisa enters the elevator alone. At first, she presses several buttons, but then her behavior becomes unusual. She repeatedly looks outside the elevator as if someone is standing there. She steps in and out of the elevator several times. At one point, she hides in the corner. Then she begins making strange hand gestures, almost as if she's talking to someone we cannot see. The elevator doors remain open for an unusually long time. Eventually, Elisa walks out of the frame. She is never seen again. When police released the footage to the public, it quickly went viral. Millions of people watched the video, trying to understand what had happened, but no one could explain it. About 2 weeks later, hotel guests began complaining about something disturbing. The water in their rooms had an unusual taste. Some said it smelled strange. Others noticed the water pressure was low. Hotel staff decided to investigate the building's rooftop water tanks. What they discovered shocked everyone. Inside one of the tanks, they found Elisa Lam. The discovery raised even more questions. How did she get onto the roof? The doors leading there were supposed to be locked. And how did she enter the water tank? The hatch was heavy and difficult to open. Yet somehow, Elisa ended up inside. Over time, several theories emerged. Some believed Elisa may have been experiencing a mental health episode. Others suspected foul play. And some people even speculated about paranormal explanations due to the hotel's dark history. However, investigators eventually ruled her death an accidental drowning. They believed Elisa had somehow climbed into the tank herself. But many people still question this explanation. because several details remain difficult to understand. More than a decade later, the case of Elisa Lam continues to fascinate people around the world. The elevator footage still circulates online. Viewers continue analyzing every movement, every second of the video. But one question still remains unanswered. What really happened during those final moments inside the Cecil Hotel?